Now in this video, we're going to be making a very simple pineapple mead, also known as a melomel. And as always, with most of my winemaking videos, mead making videos, it will be done without the use of any additional additives. Hi, I'm Charles and welcome to DIY Fermentation, your site for doing fermentation on a shoestring budget. Also, while I have the opportunity, I want to give a special shout out to new member, Woodwork by Ben Norris, and also a donation received from Bernadette Anderson. Thank you very much. It does help to keep this channel moving. Now then, let's get on with the show. To make this pineapple mead, we're going to be using 3 pineapples. We're going to be using 3 pounds of honey, the juice of half a lemon to provide a little acidity, 1 black tea bag, which is going to act as our tannin substitute. We're going to be using a Red Star Premier Rouge wine yeast, handful of roughly chopped raisins, straining bags. We're going to need about a gallon of purified water. We need something to do primary fermentation in, preferably something with a wide mouth opening so we can put our fruit in there. We'll need something to do secondary fermentation in, preferably a 1 gallon or 4 liter carboy. We're going to need an airlock with stopper. And so that we can determine our alcohol by volume level, we need a hydrometer and testing tube. And last but certainly not least, we need a sanitizer to make sure all of our equipment has been properly sanitized before we begin. I'm going to be using Star Sands on this batch. Later on, I think I'm going to try using One Step in later batches. And that's what I'm going to be using to make this strawberry mead. The plan is going to be really very simple. I want to remove the outer skin. I want to chop them up. I want to get them in a food processor, or if you've got a blender, that works just as well. A juicer would work just as well. Get them into straining bags, and then get them into boiling water. All right, let's get our tannin substitute mixture started. Take our black tea bag and let's just pour in a little bit of water. Oh, I don't know, quarter of a cup, half a cup. And let's bring that up to a low temperature so we can simmer that. We don't need a rolling boil or anything like that. We just want to get a nice little batch of strong black tea. Now the next thing we want to do is to get our pineapples into the mixture without making a mess. Now because the pineapple does have a fair amount of juice, we don't really need to pour in the full gallon of water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in, well, more than a half, but less than a whole. Again, this is country wine. You don't need to be precise. And anything we're short of, we can actually add to our carboy or fermenter later on. So let's go ahead and put cover on this. And let's bring this up to a boil. I mean, we don't need to cook it. We just want to bring it up to a boil. Purpose being to kill off any wild yeast that might have clung onto the fruit and to eliminate some of the bacteria that might have made it this far. Again, we're not using camelin tablets. We're not using sulfites. So this is how we do it. Now that our mixture has come to a boil, turn off the heat. Check on our tannin substitute mixture here. It's looking fairly strong. So we can go ahead and add that to our pineapple juice mixture. Being careful not to put in the tea bag. And, well, this is coming down to room temperature. We'll get ready for the next step. While our juice mixture is still fairly warm, now would be a good time to go ahead and add our 3 pounds of honey. Be a lot easier to dissolve it that way. Our pineapple juice mixture has had time to come down to room temperature. It's now time to transfer it into our fermenter. Now, we know we want at least a gallon worth of juice, and one way of determining that is to try and drain off some of the juice from the straining bags. And my hands were properly cleaned and sanitized. That's coming in at nearly a gallon. Let's pour off some of the juice from our bowl. Not bad at all. Put that aside. I've got a mark inside my fermenter, which lets me know where the 1 gallon mark is. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a little bit of our remaining water to reach that mark. And yeah, I know there's still a lot of juice in those bags, but I don't need to be precise, and I would like to have at least about a cup extra if I can manage it. Put our bags back in there. And more of our pineapple goodness. Now would also be a good time to add in the juice of half a lemon, which is acting as our acid blend substitute to give the wine a little bit of brightness. Taking a hydrometer reading, it looks like it's coming in at 1.094. Now again, we're only adding 1/4 teaspoon of yeast. If you wish to bloom your yeast, feel free before putting it in. I like to go commando and just basically just sprinkle my yeast on top as evenly as possible. Let's go ahead and label our creation. What we have here is a pineapple mead, also known as melomel, the date we started, and our original starting gravity, which was 1.094. Now for the next 3 days, we want to go ahead and take off our cap and give it a vigorous little stir, making sure we punch down our floating bags of pineapple. And then usually after 3 days, I tend to just leave it alone for a total of the next 5 to 7 days. So it's going to sit in your primary fermenter for at least 5 to 7 days before you rack it or transfer it into your secondary fermenter. Now, this particular fermenter does have a built-in airlock, which is why you're not seeing me use one of these, although it does have a bung which will fit in the hole, and it will use one of these, but this is not needed in this particular case. Save that one for later. So all we need to do is just put it aside, come back to it tomorrow, give it a little stir again for the next 3 days, 3 days total, and rack it and move on to the next step of waiting it out. So again, that's my take on making a pineapple melomel, also known as a pineapple mead. If you like what you see here, please click on the subscribe button, and I would appreciate it if you would also become a member and help support this channel. See you in the next video.